Okay, we are talking about polynomials, right? So this one is on the page 41, section 6.3. Polynomials multiplications. We did addition and subtraction last time. Now we are going to do multiplication and division. Okay, so we did somewhat a little bit before for the multiplication already, right? Then we talk about polynomials for, what kind of things we call it a polynomial. Poly means many terms, right? Then each term will look like what? X to the power, right? With coefficient in front of it. So each term will look like this. So your n can be positive number or 0, right? Each term will look like that. And many of them put together, poly. Okay? So we did like x2, x squared times x cubed will be what? X fifth, right? So how many terms is this one? One term. How many terms is x cubed? One term. Then we multiply them together. 1 times 1, still one term. Right? Shorthand writing of the exponents. Right? So we already did what? This one is one term and one term. Poly, mono to mono. Right? We also did this. Power on power, you multiply your powers, right? So we did what? Mono times mono. One term times one term. Did we do that? Right? So if we have xm, one term, times xm, one term, equals what? You add your powers, right? Still one term. We'll call this what? Product property, right? We also did xm to the nth, right? It's what? mn. This one and many monos timed together, right? We call this what? Quotient property. We did this earlier, right? We already did multiplications for the polynomials, okay? But the one term times one term. So let's look more examples. So if I have 7y times 2y to the cube, too many y's, right? And we wanted to write what? Each different variables, then you just write its own power individually, right? Not too many places. So we will do this one first. It means what? You have to apply your 3 to all of them, right? So it's a 2 to the third power times what? 1 to the cube, right? And multiplied by y, right? So 2 to the third power is what? 3 times is 8. 8 times 7, 56. And how many y's? Here 1, here 3. Total would be what? 4. So that would be the simplest form you can have. For each individual variable, you have its own power, the number by itself. So that would be the simplest form we want to write, okay, after the multiplication. Next one, next 9xy to the fourth and negative 0.1 xy. So you handle power with power and set for the same variable and numbers with numbers. Negative times negative times negative is what? Positive. 9 times 0.1 is what? 0.9, right? Then how many x's we have? 1 here, total 2. Y fourth and y invisible 1 here. How many y's? 5 of them. Shorthand writing. So you write it this way. Right? So what are we doing? Monomial times a monomial. One term times one term is still one term. Right? And if we have this one, still one term times one term. So number, negative, positive is negative. Then you multiply your fractions, multiply straight across, would be 5, 12. Right? Then how many y's? 3 of them multiplied together. So y cubed. Okay. Sometimes it gets complicated. And 5 is outside. So what we want to do is do it individually first, write it out, right? So negative 2 times negative 2 is what? 4, right? Then x6 to the second power on power, you multiply your power is 12 times 2 to the 4th to the 5th power and x to the 5, right? But instead, we spelled out all the 2's, too many of them. Right now, we just write it as a power. So this one is 2 to the second power, right? So this one is what? 2 to the 20th power, right? So total how many 2's? 22, okay? Just for the sake of we practice the powers, okay? X how many? 17. You add them together, right? Then take a look at the next one. So you need to be careful with your negative. Okay, negative, even times, that would be positive or negative? Even time would be what? Positive. So inside is a positive, right? Then x 6 power to the second power, power on power, multiplying x to the 12. Okay, x cubed. Then how do you write your answer? This is now plus. Between them there is what? Parentheses, it means what? Multiplication. Okay, so the result would be positive or negative? Positive. Then total would be 15 of the x 15th. Right? So we did what? Mono times mono. Okay? So we are doing what? Multiplying polynomials. Can be one term times one term. Can be what? One term times many, many terms. Right? And let's see, how should we handle it? So first one. Right? Just like if you have a bag, you have one apple, right? And 2 pears. Say if you have 3 bags, how many apples you should have? 3 apples. How many pears you should have? 6 pears. Right? That means you need to distribute the 3, multiply each one inside, because everything inside will be tripled. Right? So same thing, if you multiply one term times 3 terms, right? 1 times 3 is 3. You should have 3 terms because you have 1 term times 2 different items. You should have 1 times 2, you should have what? 2 items. So like this, if they are all different, then you should have 1 times 3, you should have 3 items. Okay? Then you have to do individually. You have to do it individually. So first one, negative times positive, negative. 3 times 4, 12. Right? Then m squared times m6. How many m's? m8. And that's that. Right? Some of you just don't see it right away. Then you need to write it individually. First one, right? Then you will write what? Negative 12, m8, n, right? Then second term will be negative 3, m squared n times what? Negative 2, m, and fifth. Then what should you have? Positive 6, right? And m squared times n, m third, right? N times n fifth, then will be n6, right? So you will add 6m cubed and 6. If you don't see it directly, then you will write what? Separately to see it, right? Last one is n7. So what should you have? That would be negative 3. How many n's? Right? How many n's? 8. Right? So then you write the answer back to here. That will be your final answer for that. Mono times poly. So you multiply them individually. Right? So what kind of property we are using? So you need to distribute the outside to everything inside. So we are using what? Distributive property, right? Okay, if we have this one, negative 3x squared times 5x squared plus 6x minus 1, same thing. One term, right? One term times how many terms? 3. 1 times 3, you should have 3 terms. Okay, then we distribute individually, right? So first one, negative 3 times 5, negative 15. X squared times x squared, x fourth, right? Second term, negative 3 times 6, negative 18, right? X squared times x, how many x's? X cubed. Last one, negative 3 times negative 1, positive 3, x squared, nothing here, so that would be x squared. Right? That's how we would do what? Multiplying polynomials. Then next one, so we did what? Mono times mono, mono times poly. Then next one, we are going to do poly times poly. Right? Same thing. You just have to do what? Distribute everything. Okay? So, the first one, we have 2x minus 3 times x squared minus 2x plus 5. How many terms for the first one? 2. How many terms we have for that? 3. So 2 times 3, we should get a 6 first. Okay? Then we cleaned up. Okay? Then see what will happen. So the first one, you should have 3 of them. right? So 2x times x squared would be what? 2x cubed, right? And next one, 2x and 2x will be minus what? 4x squared, right? Then don't mingle them, just be patient, do one at a time. First one to every one of them at the back, okay? Second one, everyone on the back. Don't jump around, do one and jump around to another. Finish one thing, then do next one. Okay, so this one times x squared to x cubed, still first one times the second one, next 4x squared, then first one times the last one would be what? 2 times 5, 10x, right? So you finish one item from the first, then you do the second item on the first, then distribute to everything behind. Right? So then you do lower rainbow. Negative 3x squared is what? Negative 3x squared. I'm already lining them up with same terms, right? Like terms, I'm kind of line them up together. So negative 3 minus times negative 2x is what? Positive 6x, right? Negative 3 times 5, right? So 2 terms times 3 terms, I have 6 of them right now. However, that's not final answer, right? Why? Because you have to write the simplest term, simplest way for the answers. That means what? Same terms, you need to simplify them. You need to combine like terms. So that would be 2x cubed, and this one will be negative 4, negative 3, negative 7 squared, right? Don't give me x fourth, because, right, pesos plus pesos, still pesos, not the peso square. So whatever the terms they are, they keep the terms, right? And this one is 16x minus 15, right? So we can do what? Multiplying polynomials, right? Many terms times many terms. You just have to do one at a time. Then cleaned up at the end by what? Combining like terms, right? Then for this one, okay, don't give me say, oh, 3x squared is 9x squared, then 2y squared is 4y squared, you put a minus there. Don't do that, right? We didn't say you can distribute them when you have plus minus 2 terms inside, unless they are multiplying, say ab to the 2 power, then you can do a squared, b squared. If they are multiplying, you can distribute, okay? But when you have 2 terms inside to the square, what does that mean? It means what? Time itself twice, okay? Then what do you need to do? You need to do your rainbows, right? Distribute individually. So 3x times 3x is what? 9x squared, right? 3x times negative 2y would be what? Negative 6x and y would be minus x and y, right? Then the lower rainbow, you have what? Negative 2 and 3, negative 6. Yx is the same thing as xy. We follow the alphabetic order, right? The last one, negative, negative, positive. 2 is 4, y is what? Y squared, right? Then what do we do? Combine the like terms. So you will write 9x squared minus what? 12xy, right? Don't give me x squared, y squared. We say don't do that, because the label variables are what? X, Y, X, Y. Both are X, Y's, right? X and Y. X times Y. Then when you combine like terms, you keep your terms, right? Then plus 4y squared. Remember, don't do that. We are not multiplying. If xy times xy would be what? X squared, y squared, right? When you multiply them, you do the shorthand writing, count how many x's and y's and together and show it in a what? Shorthand writing exponential style, right? However, if xy plus xy, what should we have? So this is x and y, right? X and y, same entity. When you put it together, you should have two of those guys. So it should be 2xy. That would be the mistake you will make for those. Right? We are doing the multiplications, but including what? Addition and subtraction at the same time. Right? So, let's look at this one. 2a minus c to the cube. Okay? You don't distribute, say, oh, 8a cubed minus c cubed. Don't do that. Because you have two terms, right? To the cube means what? Two terms times itself 3 times. 2, 2, 2, you should get 8 terms. Actually, then you cleaned up. Okay, it's not just like this. Because you only can distribute your power only when they are multiplying inside. Now the two terms. Two terms, you have to do it step by step. Okay, like those. So this one means what? You have 2a minus 3 minus c multiply how many times? 3 times. Right? Then you can only do it 2 at a time. So you do the first 2. Okay? So 2a times 2a, 4a squared, right? 2a times negative c is what? Minus 2ac, right? Then lower one would be c, negative c times 2a, minus 2ac, right? Negative c times negative c would be what? Plus c squared. Is that right? Then you cleaned up, okay? You have 4 terms here, right? You cleaned up would be what? 4a squared minus 4ac plus c squared. Is that right? 2 terms times 2 terms, you should have 4 terms. Then cleaned up, you have what? Trinomial, 3 terms. So this one is this, right? Then you carry down this one, so 2a minus c. Then you have to do it again, individually. No jumping around. Okay? So the first one, 4a squared times 2a is what? 8a squared and a cubed. Right? And next one, 4a squared times negative c, negative 4a squared c. Right? And next item is here, right? So you have what? This one. So negative 4ac 2a will be what? Negative 2 over the a. So 4 times 2 is 8, right? Then a times a is a squared and another c, right? And next one would be this, right? Negative, negative, it's positive. 4 is 4. A is A. And C would be C squared. Are you with me? Look at the next item. So that would be this one. C squared 2A would be what? Plus 2, 1A, 2C, right? C squared. And last one, right? C squared negative C would be minus C cubed, right? 3 terms times 2 terms. 3 times 2, 6 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to start with, right? So then we will clean up by combining like terms. I already lined them up. It's better to do this way, easier to combine them, right? Because they are like terms all lined up. So that would be 8a cubed minus 4 and a 12, a squared c plus 6ac squared minus c cubed. Is that right? You need to practice. Otherwise, you won't do it right. Okay? So, that would be what? Multiplying polynomials. That would be your section 6.3, page 41.